your car is trying to warn you before it dies completely. That violent shake in your steering wheel is not random, and it is not going away on its own. And if you ignore it for even one more week, you could be staring down a repair bill that crosses $1,000 before you even know what hit you. Today you are getting the truth. The service counter does not want you to hear 7 traps mechanics use to drain your wallet. When your engine starts vibrating, and by the time you reach number 1, you will know the exact $30 sensor fix that could save your entire engine before it turns into a full-blown money pit. Stick around because the last one on this list is the single most common scam in every shop in America. And walking away early could cost you thousands you never needed to spend. Number 7 is the motor mount nightmare. And shops love to open with this one because it sounds terrifying and it sounds expensive. You are sitting at a red light with your foot on the brake, and suddenly your whole seat starts buzzing like a phone on a table, and the advisor takes one look, shines a flashlight on a hairline crack in the rubber, and quotes you $800 before you have even asked a single question. Here is the betrayal hiding underneath that number. A torn motor mount lets the engine physically jump inside the bay, but a chaotic misfiring engine can shake just as violently while the mount is completely healthy, and Consumer Reports has flagged this exact misdiagnosis pattern across dozens of owner complaints. Test it yourself in your own driveway. Have someone hold the brake and tap the gas while you watch the engine block, and if it stays locked down, you just avoided an $800 gamble on parts you never needed. Your wallet cannot afford a guess this expensive. The verdict is simple. If the block does not leap, you do not pay a dime for mounts. Number 6 is the ignition coil roulette. And this is where things start getting genuinely dangerous for your bank account. A misfire code pops up on cylinder 3. And instead of isolating the actual problem, many shops recommend replacing every single coil pack at once just to be safe, turning a $120 part into a $600 invoice overnight. This is a classic money pit disguised as caution, and owners on forums report the exact same misfire returning within days because the real root cause was never touched. Demand they swap the suspected coil to a different cylinder first, and if the misfire does not follow it, you just proved your ignition system was never the problem to begin with. That single test could save you hundreds of dollars in parts you do not need. Never let a shop replace hardware based on fear instead of proof. Number 5 is the vacuum leak ghost hunt, and this one relies on pure theater to separate you from your money. A $150 smoke test finds a pinhole leak in an obscure rubber hose, and suddenly you are approved for 3 hours of labor to dismantle half your intake manifold for a part that costs $5 retail. Here is what they will not tell you. Your engine computer constantly adjusts fuel trims to compensate for tiny leaks, so a violent steering wheel shake almost never comes from a leak small enough to require smoke to even find. If your engine were losing that much air, you would hear a loud hissing whistle from across the parking lot. No machine required. This ticking time bomb of an invoice is built entirely on a diagnostic you never needed. The real fix almost always sits somewhere else, and paying for smoke to find it is regret waiting to happen. Number 4 is the transmission shutter lie, and this is where panic turns into a full-blown financial disaster if you are not careful. Your car lurches hard from a stop, and a transmission specialist tells you the torque converter is slipping, handing you a $3.00 rebuild estimate that feels like a death sentence for your car. But modern transmissions are hydraulically linked straight to engine torque output, and a stumbling misfiring engine can send a violent buck through the drivetrain that mimics a dying gearbox perfectly. Shift into park and rev the engine to 2000 RPM. And if you feel that exact same hesitation with the transmission completely disengaged, your gearbox was never broken in the first place. Thousands of drivers have authorized transmission teardowns for a problem sitting entirely inside the engine bay. Do not let fear talk you into a $3,000 gamble before you rule out the cheaper explanation first. Number 3 is the EGR valve replacement. And this trap targets you the moment your idle starts dropping and threatening to stall at every red light. A scan flags the exhaust gas recirculation valve, and you are quoted $400 for a full replacement, when the actual problem is nothing more than caked-on soot jamming a perfectly functional part. Over tens of thousands of miles, exhaust residue builds on the internal pintle seat, causing the valve to stick open and flood your intake with dirty gas instead of fresh oxygen. Pull the two fasteners, spray the pintle with carbon cleaner, and work it until it snaps shut cleanly, and your idle can smooth out in minutes for under $10. Shops know cleaning takes effort and replacing takes profit, and that gap is exactly how they justify the markup. A $10 can of cleaner just saved you from a completely unnecessary betrayal of your trust. Number 2 is the check engine light ransom, and this is the moment your fear gets weaponized against you at the worst possible time. That orange light turns on, and the advisor tells you a proprietary deep diagnostic scan is required, charging you $180 just to plug a computer into your dashboard for 10 seconds. Every vehicle sold since 1996 runs on the same federally mandated OBD2 protocol, meaning a $20 code reader from any auto parts store pulls the exact same information for free. You are not paying for information, you are paying ransom for a code you already have every legal right to access yourself. Auto parts stores nationwide will scan it at no cost, no appointment, no gimmicks. Never let anyone hold your own diagnostic data hostage for a $180 fee ever again. Number 1 is the mass airflow sensor, and this is the true root cause hiding behind almost every single symptom on this entire list. This sensor sits just behind your air filter, using a microscopically thin heated wire to measure exactly how much air is entering your engine, and your entire fuel calculation depends on it working perfectly. Over time, road dust, pollen, and oily residue bake onto that wire, insulating it just enough that it starts lying to your computer about how much air is actually coming in. Your engine panics, starves itself of fuel, and the violent shake you feel is your combustion process quite literally collapsing in real time. A $10 to $30 can of specialized mass airflow cleaner. A few careful bursts on the exposed wire, 60 seconds to dry, and that nightmare idle disappears completely. Never use brake cleaner on this sensor. It will melt the housing and destroy the wire permanently. This single $10 fix has saved more engines than every expensive part on this entire list combined. You just walked through 7 traps that could have cost you thousands of dollars in unnecessary repairs. And now you know exactly which ones to question before you ever hand over your credit card. Your engine was never broken beyond saving. It just needed someone to tell you the truth for once. If this saved you from making a costly mistake today, you already know what to do next. And there is another video waiting that could save you even more.